Hey Harmonizers, welcome to this video of Elysia. She's heading off on her free run at the Ontario Provincial Finals for Extreme Cowboy Racing. So this is the futurity class. I competed both her and Elon in the futurity class. And so this is a little look at the first run. And the way the finals work is you do two runs. The first one in the morning, everybody goes, and then in the afternoon only the top 5 go. But in the futurity class there were only 5 of us, so we knew as long as we didn't get eliminated we would still be riding in the afternoon. So this is me here doing her first round, and what that basically means, knowing that I get to ride in the afternoon, is that I'm not going to go ridiculously fast here. I'm going to focus on being really accurate, and if my horse needs some extra time, then I'm going to take it. That was a beautiful drag that Lissy just did with the bag going around and putting that back down at the canter. We're coming over to the send around now, where I get off and we do our send around, which she does this really adorable little kind of dressage cantery type thingamajig. We're not really going to call that a full canter, but it's, you know, it's kind of a canter. It's really cute. But she's trying, and she thinks that we're doing some type of interesting trick cue. So I'll take that and hop back on. And then we're going to head off to our next obstacle, which I believe is the bridge. So we're going to come up at the canter. And my goal for her as I headed into this particular competition was to canter between all of the obstacles. That was the main thing that I wanted to try doing, because in extreme cowboy racing, that's where you start to pick up the marks, is being able to canter between all of the different objects. So from the bridge, now up on a pedestal where we have to do a 180 turn, which is not something that I've practiced on her back before. So I was really happy that she was able to piece that together and do the pedestal with the 180 turn so cleanly. And here where we go into our rollback, so we do our canter on the right lead, which you guys may remember when I started training Lissy, doing our right lead used to be hard for her. Now she's doing her leads really nicely, understanding them. I would say 99% of the time she gets them cleanly and knows where she's supposed to go. So that's another right lead canter right there. And then we're going to go off on our next little roll back and head off to the next obstacle, which is a side pass. So we're cantering everything. You can see we're not going crazy fast, but we are cantering between everything. And I believe we finished we finished second place after this particular round. And we're going to do our side pass, which she was a little bit not paying attention, so she was a little sticky at the start there. She totally knows how to go sideways. She was just being a little bit not focused and a little distracted, which just led to her being a little slower as we come through the side pass. So it's not a super fast side pass. It's a really long side pass though. And then we're going to come around to our rope gate where they've put a tarp on it just to give it that extra element of being a little scary. So we're going to come into that. And you can see she's still kind of looking around a little bit. She's focusing, she's doing the obstacles that I'm asking her to do, but she's very much aware that she's somewhere new and kind of looking around. But I'm pretty happy that we were able to trail her in and just come off to this show and be able to go in the ring and do these different obstacles. Coming in here, these are called spider jumps, where they've basically got an upside down feed bucket that you jump, which Lissy is jumping really big. And then here I make a rider error and I go in on a really awkward angle, so she trots that one. So we pick up our canter and get our last one here to do our jump as we head off to our next obstacle, where we come around the corner and then it's a free ride to the finish. And they often do a free ride in Extreme Cowboy. They want to see that you have the ability to go fast and control your horse, and have that speed control is a really big part of extreme cowboy racing. Now, I don't go crazy fast with Elysia because I know we got to ride this afternoon, and I want to make sure that she's not a hot, crazy thoroughbred. Want to keep everything kind of controlled and relaxed heading into the finals. So now we're heading into the finale piece. So we knew we were going to ride in the finale, and we rode second last, and Lissy did not actually get any warm-up because we came in right after Elon, essentially. So Elon rode second, and then I only had one horse in between Elon and Elysia to get changed into my a different horse, kind of hand off my horse and swap over, and then in the ring we went. So I'm so proud of her because you guys know Elysia can be a bit of a fire-breathing dragon, and she can get very upset doing new things and not having kind of enough warning, and she was able to come in the ring and just kind of go right to business. So here she hesitates a little bit at the water box, hardly anything. She comes in, she goes over, gets all 4 feet in that water box. We get a nice canter coming into our cow here, and you'll notice that I'm picking up the pace a little bit now because we're in the final round, so this is the round that kind of matters. And she stands so nice and patiently for me here as I get my loop figured out. I am not a pro cowgirl when it comes to roping. I get a loop going, I toss it, I miss the horns, but you know, whatever. I show that I can dally, I show that I can back up, and you still want to kind of go through those motions. Then we come off when we get our little canter between our obstacles. Remember, that's my goal for today's race. Up onto the bridge. She stands so nicely for me on this bridge. Lost her balance a little bit there with the back foot, but she stands really nicely. We come down, we even managed to get a nice little collected canter here as we head into the mattress. Now this is a mattress with a carpet on top, and she steps on it. She goes, "Oh, what's that? We haven't done a mattress." And she's like, "Oh, okay, got that figured out," and doesn't freak out. So I am so proud of her. This is really tricky, this turn and burn. It's so narrow between those poles, hard for you to kind of see, but they're probably only 3 feet apart. And then there's a pole at the end that you have to go around. Then we come into our ground tie. This was an obstacle that Elon did really well at, and Lissy does really well too. She's like, "Hey, where'd you go?" Look at her looking at me. She's like, "Mom, you left me here. Am I supposed to stay here?" And I'm like, "Thanks, baby girl. You stood really nicely." And she's so tall that we're going to use that mounting block to hop back up on. And she stands really nicely for me to hop back up and on. So we're going to score some really nice marks for that obstacle. She did that really nicely, pretty perfectly. Get our canter. So we're doing lots of really nice halter walk canter transitions. This one we're supposed to get 4 feet on the pedestal this time, and she manages to get our 4 feet on our pedestal, which is something that we don't typically do riding, so I'm really happy that she had the balance to do that. And then off we go at our canter again, and this time on the little spoke thing we just had to dismount and remount our horse just to show I guess that they could stand still for that. So we just get off and on again, and that was really easy for her, so we do that. And then we go off and we're going to do our free run, which we're going to go a little bit faster than what we did on the first round. We're opening up a little bit more. We're going to come around the corner, and then we're going to ask for a flying lead change, which you know has been a big goal of Lissy learning these this summer. And she gives me a nice flying lead change, a clean flying lead change as we come around. So I'm so proud of her. She ended up being the champion of the futurity, and of course getting the Thoroughbred award as well. So here's a little look at our buckle that she won, and that wraps up Provincial finals for Lissy.